One of the drawbacks to movies shot in Toronto is sometimes it's a distraction. I'll recognize a location and it triggers a memory in me, and then I'm off thinking about something else that takes me out of the movie. Or sometimes it's Canadian actors in bit parts. I don't know their names, but I recognize their faces. Hey, there's that guy from that commercial, and there's another distraction. So I think this entire multi-billion-dollar Toronto movie industry needs to be dismantled and shut down because it adversely affects my enjoyment. But that's a subject for another day. Today I want to talk about one movie scene that triggered the biggest reaction in me ever. It's a relatively forgotten movie from 1992 called This Is My Life, starring Julie Kavner. This movie was Nora Ephron's directorial debut, the story of a single mom who becomes a stand-up comedian for some reason. I sat down to watch this years ago on VHS, and in one otherwise unremarkable moment, a car is driving down a street and it passes by a variety store. I literally jumped out of my chair. That's Jim's Variety. That's my old neighborhood. That's where I grew up. It's like I was transported back to 1974. I used to run errands for my dad to Jim's all the time, back when 8-year-olds could buy cigarettes. My dad's brand was Rothman's King Size. And my parents would send me for other things too, to get the milk or TV guide. Sometimes they'd send me at night, because that was parenting in the 70s. And Jim was a real person. It was a Greek family that owned the store, and they moved away about 2 years before we did. But the sign remained for about 20 years at least. The sign is gone. It's now Jones Variety. But it was great to go back and see the old neighborhood, see where Jim's used to be. It's close to my childhood home, which is just down the street from my first school. Used to be called St. William's. Here's my daughter.
Hi.
Meanwhile, downtown you'll find Ryerson University, which I attended 1,000 years ago. Scenes from My Big Fat Greek Wedding were shot here, along with scenes from PCU. That's my friend Rob Gaffrere, who had a small part in that movie. Nearby is the corner of Yonge and Gerrard, and it's here where I can reminisce about a popular pizza place that's no longer open. The Big Slice was at this location for more than 40 years, and many Ryerson students have great memories of the Big Slice. Fun fact, the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the DC movie universe have a nexus point, and it's the Big Slice. If you look closely at 2008's Incredible Hulk, the climactic battle scene, there's the Big Slice right there. And in 2016's Suicide Squad, Batman's after the Joker, the Batmobile turns the corner here at Yonge and Gerrard, and there it is, the Big Slice. Actually, this whole section of Yonge Street has been in tons of movies. The most famous local landmark in this area that's no longer there was the Sam the Record Man store, which had this huge neon sign, and it stood there for almost 50 years. And it appeared in a lot of movies. Here it is in The Incredible Hulk, Police Academy 4. It even appeared briefly in the SCTV parody of Going Down the Road. Speaking of signs, that's the CHUM sign here at the corner of Richmond and Duncan. The CHUM sign was on top of the radio station up at Yonge and St. Clair for about 50 years and was moved here when the radio station moved downtown. I was lucky enough to spend 15 years there at the old building. I'm here now at Nathan Phillips Square, and that's our city hall, designed by the great Finnish architect, however you pronounce that. And this building has appeared in many movies and TV shows. The one that I remember best is The Kidnapping of the President from 1980 with William Shatner and Hal Holbrook. The actual kidnapping takes place here in the southeast corner of the square. That movie was an action thriller for the ages. So let's end today's video here on Wellington and York Streets by talking about the cinematic masterpiece that is Police Academy 4, Citizens on Patrol. It was here that a really rad skateboarding sequence was shot with the legendary Tony Hawk doubling for David Spade. I mention that movie specifically because it's one of those movies that doesn't hide Toronto very well at all. In fact, after the skateboarding scene, which was very integral to the story, David Spade goes inside what's supposed to be a mall. That mall is clearly the Woodbine Center, which is out by the airport a half hour away. So that took me out of the movie completely. Look, I don't expect Police Academy 4 to have anything approaching comedy, but is strict continuity too much to ask? Well, that's everything for today. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time.